Hello everyone, Bill Molyneux here, January 21st, 2025. Hey, you know what we're doing, everyone? First of all, thank you for watching. $336 raised for Civil War Trails. The current videos they're going to help Weiss Fork Battlefield to save the battlefield from having a highway put in it. But you all answered my poll. We're removing the Sudan, and what we're doing, well, believe it or not, we're going to do the Battle of the Hook. That's right, we're going to set up the Battle of the Hook. And the Battle of the Hook happened on October 3rd, 1781. On my history channel, I've made a few videos on it. And I have a board game coming out for it. Pretty cool. And the board game consists of two scenarios. Not just one, but you have the Battle of the Hook. And then we're going to have Cornwallis's Breakout. Cornwallis's Breakout is super cool. That's what would have happened at the Battle of Yorktown, or the Siege of Yorktown, if the weather had been clear and Cornwallis could have gotten his army across the river. So we are going to pause the camera, and I'm going to set up the Battle of the Hook. Probably will not have time to play it tonight, Tuesday. And for those of you that watch the channel regularly, I want to say thank you for all the nice notes people send me regarding my wife and her health issues. Okay, now, as the Battle of the Hook landscape, pretty darn flat. I live near there quite often, so I'm actually quite aware of how it's not really a lot of hills, let alone an Issan Luana. Speaking of Issan Luana, the Battle of Issan Luana is now. It is the anniversary date. But I've done a lot of Zulu videos in the past. There's a lot of them out there. I have made several works drifts and Issan Luana just a few months ago. And I think we're going to go back to some Rev War. And I listen to and try to respond to all these messages I get. And I can't always, but I try. So, the Battle of the Hook, Gloucester, we're going to put a couple buildings to represent Gloucester out here. And the waters, of course, you're going to have to use your imagination. There would be water there. And then the British had at Tyndall Point, that's the Gloucester Point, has this Tyndall Park. And the British entrenchments. So we'll throw these out for our entrenchments. And we're going to put out a couple more buildings. And the scenery behind you. And I'm going to have to order some different backgrounds. I need a desert type one. I need one that's just sky, I guess. And some of these are not painted. You'll have to excuse that. And some are shaded, some are not. But we'll run a road through there. We'll need a tavern. Now, as you're watching, we have to have some kind of installation here, some buildings. Place this one with this one. And we'll use this 3D printed one that Josh Warliff, the 3D printer king, who currently is not making anything right now. He is backed up, so he's asking for me not to advertise for a few weeks here to let his machines get caught up. There. So, Gloucester Point's defenses. What do you think of that? Now, the whole issue of this is a battle with Tarleton. and our French Duke Luzon and some American Dragoons. Their orders are not to allow the British to forage for supplies. So, pause the camera here. Okay, welcome back. We need a tavern out here. And we're going to set it about here. That's Seawell's Tavern. Ordinary. Reason it's called an ordinary is because it serves food to ordinary people. And pretty cool, huh? So we have our ordinary out here. And can you even see it? Yes, you can. And there we go, our other chimney. So we need some roads, don't we? Now, I've spent the last 6 months working on a board game for this battle. So I have quite a bit of it memorized. And we're just going to run a road along with and this tavern goes over here. And if you're wondering, this is Route 17, Scoot's Barbecue, Goober's favorite restaurant, is, I'll have to point it out, it's on the other side of the table. So, look at that. This is our first road. And of course, we will do some work with some fazis, some little pointy sticks. I got them from Jack, a war gamer. Look at that. So we're trying to set this up in about 20 minutes because I have to make soup for my wife in a little while. Family comes first before wargaming. I know some of you would be amazed I say that. My wife is fantastic when it comes to my hobbies and making goober videos, and I'm very fortunate to have her. She doesn't like E6000 paint and E6000 glue to be used in the house too much. That does cause issues at times. All right. Now I could put a small stream out here, but we're not going to bother doing that. And this is October, so we wouldn't have any green crops. But I do know there is crops here left over, and there is a field over here. Now, Scoot's Barbecue. This map battlefield is not perfect, but Scoot's Barbecue would be about here, roughly. Okay? Give or take a little bit. There we go. Now, how fast can we set up a battlefield? I have a little bit of trees to put out. We'll grab the tree box, and we need some fences, don't we? So, let's throw some fences out. So how's everyone doing out there with the cold in Maryland and Virginia? The weather is a little chilly. So this is a fast setup. You know, I don't know how many of you are running games at your own homes in between and all, but I find sometimes just setting up a game is sort of cool, relaxing in its own way. And there are I've often have talked about setting up a miniature war game is like setting up a dinner table for your guests to arrive to have dinner. And you try to make sure everyone will like what you cook. And unfortunately, that does not always happen. There are times that some gamer may not like the broccoli or whatever it might be, if you know what I mean. And then there's other times um, everyone loves the broccoli with no issues. So now I find that most war gamers are, especially the us older fellas, are very receptive to just rolling dice and moving figures. All right. Well, we need a few trees on this table, though. Let me grab the tree box. By the way, I'm using my. I haven't gotten this room 100% better, but all the trees, walls, and everything are finally over here at that side. So right now, I'm able to find everything a lot easier, which has been, which is very good. So there we are. Now, put them away. I'm not using a split rail, I guess, and no barbed wire, but we do need just a handful of trees to spice the table up. And you know what? We'll go to like that screen. And we're just going to put a little woods here. Just to give us a little bit of green on our cloth. Now I'm hoping in the next month or so, my wife will be up to let me have Kevin and Walt and Derek and Jim Shaw from Gettysburg used to come here and war game too when I moved here, but well, things had to change a bit when my wife got sick. So, but it's really amazing how trees do add a little color. Now, didn't say this in the beginning. I meant to. I was going to say I'm trying to set this game table up in 15 minutes. And the reason I'm doing that is when we have the Gettysburg area gamers, Josh would sometimes be the GM, and he would show up 10-15 minutes before everyone else, and the table would be empty like this, and yet he would get everything set up and ready to go. We used to have Roxanne Patton over a few times, half a dozen times, famous wargamer herself, and she was phenomenal for setting up a war game in lightning speed too. And my dear friend Lynn Otto, famous historian, in charge of a lot of museums in Pennsylvania. He also was part of my wedding party. He gave me this, and it means quite a bit to me. And I always try to use this in almost any war game I can. And we're going to set it right here. And Lynn, I know you don't really do miniature wargaming, but everyone out there, my friend Lynn Otto, he does. He has a huge 54 millimeter collectible collection of the high-end painted 54s. And it's quite impressive to see. So, and I've stayed at his home, and his den is quite impressive with one heck of a lot of 54 millimeter soldiers. So, I don't know if Lynn will watch this or not. All right, everyone. We have the Battle of the Hook, and this shows 10 minutes plus the other time. I'm going to think I'm pretty close. So coming back to the Battle of the Hook, I got to put out some artillery in those entrenchments. Not a lot, just a couple field guns and a siege gun. But this is the largest cavalry action during the American Revolution. Count Luzon, sorry about the pronunciation, everyone, but he was here for about 3 years with an entire French brigade. We owe a great deal of thanks to him because they helped secure the Yorktown area long after everything was completed with the surrender and all. Now, these figures that you're going to see out here have not seen combat. I got these from Mike Priest, the famous author and historian, who will be at Cold Wars. And I have flocked them. I touched them up a little bit. But the order of battle is almost all cavalry, a couple wagons, British wagons. They're carrying supplies back because they're out foraging. And, at the end of this video, I might add one of my own videos. I don't know, on the Battle of the Hook. All right. So I don't know. I guess I need to line up all the British, the evil Tarleton. Now the French and the Count Luzon, believe it or not, he does all kinds of miraculous thing here at the Yorktown campaign. But when he goes back to France, he gets guillotined during the Revolution. And you gotta say that really is frustrating. So, I do not have any Lancers. I have some Bengal Lancers, but they wouldn't work too good. Right now, I'm just trying to set figures and see what I have. I've never used these. And we'll get up closer. So I've not used these, but so this is the Americans. There we go. I'm going to just plop them here for now, just to get this tub out of the way. So the Battle of the Hook. So what happened is Tarleton was fighting with the Duke Luzon. Tarleton gets wounded and knocked off his horse. He gets saved by his own men. And the British do not come out of their entrenchments again until they surrender. So there are 2 surrenders during Yorktown. Now I need 2 wagons and some horses. And now, of course, we all know I reorganized the war game room, but where I put the wagons, we're not sure. I got to pause the camera. Okay, so there's Tarleton there for now, and we have to set up our American Dragoons, and we're going with 3 to 4 stands per unit. So I go here and here and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll have to get a couple movement stands Can you see that? No, you can't. Apologize, everyone. As you know, if you watch my videos, I am not perfect. I'm just an old, chubby guy trying to raise money at times for different historic sites. And, oh, gosh. These are white French troops. Look at how nice they are. White uniforms for the purity of the Catholic faith. So, and then we'll have 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? We can 3. Put him out in front. Put him there. We have a writer coming in saying they're looting the countryside. Now, what we do need is some wagons and some infantry on both sides. But we haven't gotten to that point. All right, I gotta go find some wagons. Okay, welcome back. You don't know this, but it took me 20 minutes to find the box with the wagons and tents and stuff. And I know, I'm still trying to get organized. And our scenario needs a lot of work. Don't worry, it's not going to play the way it is. I was just trying to get stuff organized. So, here's our supply wagons. We'll even have a cart. We have a brazier, which is sort of a oven. We got some campfires. And I was looking for these tents for the Fort William Henry game. And now I find them. So, all right. We got to get the... Now, you're all going to laugh because we have wagons, right? We need horses to pull the wagons. And we need to put out some cannons for over here. Now, because I'm more organized, I know where the cannons are for this time period. So, all this cleaning I've been doing isn't going down in vain. There. So I can get right to the cannons. So we have our British camp wagons. We need horses. Now, if you remember, a month or two ago, I was at that gypsy thrift store in Matthews, and they had for $10 bags of horses. So we need to find a couple horses that are like sort of normal. Good enough for the game is all. That's all we're looking for. Okay. I didn't want saddles on them. So they were here at the tavern. And they do have supplies. And I'm just putting them here for now, just to get an idea of the game. And of course, I'll have to mount them on a base at some point here. That's good enough for now. And so these $10 horses came in sort of handy, I guess. And then, of course, they're not perfect. This one actually has cracked tail. All right. There's a horse in here. I think it's like 80 millimeter. It's big. That looks more like a pony. You want a big draft horse, right? So who's coming out to see the chuckleheads of me at Fort Belvoir this weekend at Fort Belvoir Museum? We're doing Battle of the Bulge. Should be a fun time. Gotta help support these historic sites as much as possible. Still unhappy with that one horse. Once I get him mounted on a movement base, will be better. But I found a better horse. Look at that. Perfection. And we need a horse for that cart. What do you think of setting up a game? Sort of interesting, huh? So in our scenario, these wagons and stuff may not be where they are when we start. Just to give you a heads up. But at least it gives me my order of battle before I have to start making soup. Everything here has to be sort of fresh made and gluten-free and stuff. And those of you probably understand why, that follow my channel and my escapades. So, we're coming along. We're going to have the Americans and French coming on the edge. We're going to move the wagons back. And I might change history a little bit and do the battle going across left to right, just because it makes for a better video in some areas. I'll have some of because I'm supposed to put militia out here, and American militia, the Royal Fusiliers for the British, a regiment of them, or a unit. I think it's the 81st Company D or something. So there's that. So we have Tarleton there, and so if John Priest watches this, he can see that his figures are being used. And then we will set this unit guarding the wagons, I think will be best. And our fellow running through the countryside, screaming that the British are coming, and that's from the old, I think, Johnny Tremaine set. Someone helped me out with that. I believe that's where that comes from, the Mark set. Okay. Now, for those of you curious, I am totally winging this game at the moment. We're just moving stuff around. I will not be able to play this tonight, the Battle of the Hook. I encourage you to go to my history channel, Bill's History World with Goober the Traveling Bear, and check out my history channel. I'm changing the algorithms and the settings on it. I had it set for education, and it doesn't get a lot of hits. I changed some of the videos over to travel, and all of a sudden those videos are popping. So I did 2 videos, and did one as education and one as travel. The travel one already has over 100 views, while unfortunately the other one has like 22. Amazing, huh? So that's about where we're at. We need artillerymen, and some Highlanders. So, unfortunately, it's 20 minutes of 5. I need to go and do some chores for the wife and make her something to eat. I'm gonna shut this video down for now. And of course, we're not done. But and I have a horse falling down on the wagon cart. And for those who are wondering, there's our French troops with the Count de Luzon. All right, the Battle of the Hook, October 3rd. The board game will be out in a few months, maybe less. Blue Panther Printing, Bill Molyneux Games. And I don't know if I'll get this set up the rest of tonight or not. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous. Thank you for watching. Real live time action of setting up a game. And if you're painting your figures, they don't have to be perfect. Thank you, everyone.